Eve with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Glenn Mullen, President of PDAC. Thanks so much for joining me today.
I'm thrilled.
Great, and yes, it's day 3 of PDAC. It's been a great convention so far. Can you tell me what your sense has been of the mood here?
PDAC is all about pacing. It's not a sprint, and it takes a certain dedication to actually get the maximum benefit out of it. It's great fun, looking at the crowds, the escalators, going up, going down, the technical consultations, the Aboriginal program, CSR, the short courses the day before. Everything has been packed. The country sessions, it's relentless. It just doesn't stop. The media presence, it's really fantastic. So all I can go by is the buzz that I hear and see in the elevators, escalators, and very positive.
What themes have you seen emerging over the past few days here?
Well, it's deliberate that the themes at the convention are supposed to be an echo of the themes that dominate the industry. So in the past year or so, we've really seen an increase in our programming content for diversity, innovation, as always a big focus on the Aboriginal program and Indigenous content. Innovation's a big part of it with a low carbon environment and thrust for clean energy, so a lot of explorers and battery minerals, electric vehicles, exploration for lithium, nickel, cobalt, and so on. Those are newer themes that we didn't see in past years.
Do you have a sense of where the resource space may be headed in 2019? Everybody always says this event is kind of a bellwether for the space as we move on.
Nothing more dangerous than trying to predict metals prices, so I wouldn't go that far. But certainly our statistics and our research tell us that, at the beginning of last year, we all thought we were on a beginning of a very strong uptrend, and it tapered off sometime in the summer, and then the markets got a little bit softer. And right now we've seen a lot of noise, so it seems like it's moving up and then it's sideways and then it's down and it's back and forth. So right now it's very noisy, and that's usually a precursor to something. So whether it's net positive or net negative, it's a little bit too early to say, but certainly looking at the booths, looking at the exploration programs and the things that have been announced recently, there's still no hiatus in the gold exploration side.
Now, your term as PDAC president is actually coming to an end. Are you able to share some reflections or lessons about what you've learned over the past years?
Well, it was sure a lot of fun. First of all, they told me it was 2 years, but it was 3.5. And so that was the first lesson. It was great. PDAC presidency is a volunteer position. So to remove some of the mystery from it, I get what the students get, which is nothing. But it's a great privilege, and I think the best reflection was working with staff, seeing Lisa McDonald become the executive director, seeing how the staff transition from the old office into the new office, seeing some of the products that we've released, like the State of Mineral Finance report, participating with our board of directors, and actually them encouraging me, because I live in Quebec in a mining town, and for them to actually agree to hold our board meetings once per year in Montreal. Those were huge gestures from the PDAC, and I mean, that's unforgettable stuff for me. We already hold a meeting in Vancouver every year during the AIM conference. So this is a natural extension of the national fabric of PDAC, but it's the first time it's been done. And that with the translation of the website into French and increasing membership from Quebec, those are all things that I'll take away and be really grateful for the board's support. It's been great.
That's great. And your involvement will continue somewhat as we go forward?
Yeah, the next title is immediate past president. And so the 2 years from second VP, and then 2 years as first VP, and then 2 years as president now becomes 2 years as past president. So it's quite a time commitment, but you get so much from being part of the PDAC. It definitely gives more than it takes.
Right, and one thing you did this morning, you were able to speak with the Prime Minister. Can you tell me a little bit about that conversation? How did it go? What was it like doing that?
He even made a hockey joke. It was great. Boy, I was so nervous, and I don't usually get too uptight or tense about these things, but because it was important to the PDAC members, the association, because of all the things that are going on in the dynamic in the news, I just really wanted it to be fun. So I was pleasantly surprised when he threw out some hockey references, and that made things a lot easier. And then we actually talked about the things that matter to our members, like mineral exploration tax credit and community corporations and how they do partnerships, in particular Aboriginal. And then some of the things that government helps us with or needs to help us with more with regulation. So it was great to actually have a conversation with the Prime Minister of Canada about mining stuff and hockey.
That's great. And you did seem very positive. Do you feel that the resource space is getting what it needs from the government right now?
I don't think we can ever sit down and say, boy, that's
It's all
enough,
good.
or they're giving us too much. I don't think that day will ever come, but they certainly have listened. And I think one of our biggest challenges in the past decades has been trying to even get a seat in the room and to try to be heard. And with the mineral exploration tax credit and some of the new legislation, they're showing that we're being heard, and with that comes a responsibility to make sure that we don't overstep and that we continue to work well with the government.
Okay, that's great. I think we'll leave it there unless you have any final thoughts that you would want to leave our audience with.
If you're not at this convention, you've got to come to this. There's nothing in the mining space that's like the PDAC. It's my 44th, and this one is the most fun out of the previous 43, if for no other reason than I got to meet the Prime Minister. But it is great, and it's relentless. It starts early, it finishes late. There's so much enthusiasm, the students, the life members. It's just so broad and how it touches everything in Canada. I love the PDAC.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and thanks for having everybody here.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Charlotte.
Once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and this is Glen Mullen.